Hello and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea, and today I'd like to share with you more of the information I've received from a 25th dimension during my last Beyond Quantum Healing hypnosis session. I'll be reading from a transcript, and when I refer to Lorrayne, that was my hypnotist who was reading me questions I had prepared in advance of the session. And when I refer to me, I'm speaking on myself under hypnosis, which means that the answers were coming from a 25th. But before I move forward, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And please do give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and also leave me a comment below to let me know if this stuff resonates with you or what you're going through, what you've noticed out there, because there's so much going on out there right now. So it's nice to get kind of guidance and that kind of thing. So I love to compare notes. All right, I'm gonna jump in now. Lorrayne. So Claire would like to know, does this mean that there is nothing new in the future for us to create since everything is already happening now? And if you haven't watched my previous video, there was a big section of it that was about time. I'm trying to understand this concept of time because the 25th has told us time does not exist. So now I wanted to know, so does it mean that there is no future? You know, we already manifested everything. So I'll read the question in this context. Hopefully it's a little bit more clear. Claire would like to know, does this mean that there is nothing new in the future for us to create since everything is already happening now? That if next we decide to build a new planet, for example, it was always there. It's already been done. It was always happening. For example, even at a personal level, and you just explained this, say she wanted to get a doctorate, a PhD. Did she create that experience that didn't exist before, or was it always existing and she just switched her focus to it? Me. Yeah, no, it wasn't existing before. Clea had not had that experience. So for Clea, it was new. She went, she focused on that, and now she's having that experience. So even a planet, when we say, for example, this planet has been here 9 billion years, it means that there was a time, and again, there is no time, but there was a version of this matrix that did not have this planet, okay? And if you want to experience that version, you can go and experience it right now, because that version exists, it still exists right now. And even after this planet is taken down and it doesn't exist anymore from a 3D, from a matrix perspective, if you want to experience this planet, you will be able to focus on it and it will be happening for you in front of you right now. We talked about this with the other takedowns. We could go and see the takedowns, the previous 2 takedowns of the other planets. We could go see them right now. We're just not interested, but they're not in the past. They're happening right now. But were they always happening? They weren't always happening. They happened when they happened. And they're still happening. That's what we mean. So there is a sequence, if you like, and again, this presupposes time, but there is a sequence to experiences, but it's only based on what the essence wants to experience. Because once the experience has been manifested and it's available, you can, to you will be present. Every time you experience it, it will be present because everything is happening right now. However, if I want to have an experience, if with my imagination, I choose to have a new experience, like for example, New Earth is a new experience, is all it is. A bunch of us got together and said, we would like to experience that. New Earth has not always been there, has been there for a certain amount of time, what we consider time, and it wasn't there before, and it's here now. The messages we're getting from the 25th, they haven't always been there. We didn't want to know that. Now we've decided that these are experiences we want to have. So here we are. So there is a before and an after. There is a next. It doesn't mean we have imagined everything. There are things we haven't imagined yet that will happen. So not everything is written in answer to your question. So while there is a quote unquote future, the reason we say there is no future is because it depends. When we say future, it's almost like it's written, it's there. There is a future, but there is no future because there is no time. All there is the fact that we now decide we're going to create something else. And all of a sudden, that becomes available in the now. That's it. Lorrayne, the potentiality exists in the now. Me, yes, yes, yes. Lorrayne, another example, you said that the tunnel has been open for 8 years, which doesn't matter because all that matters is that it's open for the takedown. So it could have been open for 5 minutes or 20 years, and it's all the same. And she's referring to the tunnel to New Earth. Basically, it's a tunnel that most essences will be using when they project themselves to New Earth from here. But this experience of opening the tunnel happened at a certain point, which means it was not there before. So there is a past and a future. Also, you've told us that the tunnel is being used by many people already. So it has been beneficial that it's been open for longer than 5 minutes. But technically, it was always open. Can you please help us understand this? Me. Yes. So again, we just explained this. There is a before. If you want to think about it that way, there's a before the tunnel and then after the tunnel. Once the tunnel experience was envisioned, the tunnel now exists forever and ever and ever. It exists in the now, okay? Anybody wants to be aware of that tunnel, it will be right there for them. If I wanted to see now when the tunnel experience was created, I could go in and see it and I could relive it right now. It's happening right in front of me, again, just like a movie. But there was a time, there was a period, there was a version of this game where there was no tunnel. And this is what we mean to say, is that it's just, we use time to express these concepts where we say there was a version of this game without the tunnel. It's all, again, the word you use, it's all potentialities. It's just different realities, depending on what we focus on. The moment we wanted to focus on having a tunnel, here we go. Now we have a tunnel. Lorrayne, thank you. Why are reptilians on planet Earth? Clea thought that this planet was for humans only. We're not here as Pleiadians or Andromedans. We're here as essences trying this experience out. So why are there still reptilians here? Me. Yeah, so this is because there's a lot of confusion in New Age spirituality, what we're hearing out there. They're not here as reptilians. The people that are here are humans on the team of the dark, but they are humans. When we say that they are reptilians, most likely what we're saying is that if they're on the team of the dark, most likely, or really they are the dark team, or there are others as well, but basically their DNA, their genetic material will be that of reptilians. Just like the genetic material, we talked about this, like we have different aliens have created genetic material for us. And they've left their imprints. And for a lot of the dark, it's reptilian. And that's why they connect the reptilians. They connect with reptilians, actual reptilians, reptilian aliens, you know, in 5D and above. And they're the ones who are passing a lot of guidance and a lot of the stuff for that reason. But when we talk about humans, the humans are not reptilian. They might have reptilian DNA, but they're not reptilian. We should say genetic imprint, because again, we're all the same as humans. These bodies are all the same. Lorrayne, thank you. You told us that some reptilians will go back to their planets after the takedown. What are these planets? Why are the reptilians here if they have planets? The rest of us doesn't have planets. We are from everywhere. What does it mean that they have planets? And will they have a veil where they go? So they can just focus on integrating only what they've done in their current lifetime? She's asking, or I was asking this question, because the 25th said that the same way that we were given a choice to go back either to the 25th, obviously we always have that choice to call ourselves out of the game, but either to go, we're given the choice basically because of this takedown to either go to New Earth or to hang out with the aliens or to 3D chambers. When I asked about the dark team, they said that a lot of them are going back to their planet. And I'm like, what planet? You know, why do they have a planet? And this makes no sense. So that's the reason for this question. So let's hear from the 25th. So basically, yes. So your first question, what is that planet? It's Orion. Orion is where a lot of the reptilians are, and they will have a veil. they have a veil in the multiverse. Everywhere but on New Earth, they have a veil. And this will actually help them integrate some of the things they've done. And again, as they move there, they're still gonna move as humans, okay? Because just like the people going to 3D chambers or us going to New Earth or going to hang out with the aliens, we're still humans. And as we said, the people from here, they're humans, but they've been given the choice of considering that if they have this imprint and they've done certain things, where would they feel more comfortable going? So they made this choice, and a lot of the dark who already said they're going back to the 25th because it's just an easy way to reset. So I don't know if I've answered all your questions. Lorrayne, why were the reptilians here if they had their own planet? Me. So again, why were the Pleiadians here? We are just essences, and we want to incarnate here. We have, we have the right, we have the choice, we have the freedom to incarnate here. And the reptilians just wanted to incarnate here. They're just one of the many alien species that is here. But again, it's a confusion when we talk about it. It sounds like there are actual reptilians here. We're talking about humans with reptilian DNA. We're not talking about actual reptilians being here. And so they have their planet as in from a genetic, and here Lorrayne interrupted them and said, are there no actual reptilians here? Me. We've discussed this in the last session, and Lorrayne, you will see the transcript for this because the previous session was with Carolyn. So Lorrayne had not seen this, the transcript yet, and my videos had not been released yet. So we've discussed this in the last session, and Lorrayne, you will see the transcript for this. But basically, actual reptilians are aliens. Aliens cannot walk here, cannot be here just as aliens. They have to use an NPC to come in. So they can walk around for a certain amount of time, but they can't be here because one, they're higher dimensional and they couldn't even survive here. And second, we have rules here. This planet is for humans, so you cannot be here as in live here, okay? So we do not have actual reptilians walking around. We discussed that if the people that say, oh, I've seen them shapeshift, what they were seeing was a reptilian projecting themselves. They weren't actually here, they're projecting themselves or taking on a certain, a certain look so they wouldn't be seen. And then, but they couldn't maintain it because again, this planet is for humans. You cannot be here, especially for longer periods of time, unless you're basically committed to an NPC from birth. And that's why we talk about walking around. We don't talk about lying around for 20 years. We talk about, hey, take over an NPC, you walk around, you check out the situation, you move on. You don't just kind of live here for 30 years inside an NPC. We've described this when we said that the essence, leaves the body all the time, but in essence has a body reserved for itself. Because otherwise, if I'm gone all the time and I can't come back in because another essence has taken over CLEA'S body, then what happens? So we reserve the body, but this is because the body waits for a certain essence because it has fused itself like a birth. There was a commitment by the essence to stay with this body throughout the life of the body to a certain extent. Again, we said we leave all the time. But basically the idea is that we don't let any other essence come in. And so the same thing happens with these aliens. You cannot just come into an NPC and just take it over forever, because once you leave and you have your own life, right? You're just coming in. Once you leave, you can't come back in. You don't know if you can come back in. That body's not reserved for you. And that's what we're talking about. In fact, we've even described the fact that a lot of celebrities you see with like the black eyes or whatever it is, when they say they're trying to get an alien to come in, a lot of celebrities are NPCs, and they're doing all these rituals, hoping that an alien can walk around for long periods of time, but it doesn't work. That's why a lot of celebrities look like they're zombies. They're walking around because they don't have an essence. And so there is no reptilian essence inside. They can't stay. They might be able to look around for a little while, but that's it. And so the dark is trying to do all these, shenanigans, trying to figure out how they can make that happen for long periods of time, but they can't. They can't because we have rules on this planet to avoid that. So I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.